There comes a moment in life when you realize that waiting, wishing, and wanting are not enough. That moment, when the weight of your dreams presses so hard on your chest that you can barely breathe, is the moment you have to make a choice. Are you going to chase your goals like a dreamer running after a mirage? Or are you going to hunt them down like your life depends on it? Because here's the truth: goals don't come to those who wait, they don't fall into your lap. They don't magically appear because you wrote them in a journal. You have to go after them with the fire of someone who refuses to lose. Think about it. How many times have you said, I want this, or I'm going to do that? But days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and somehow nothing changes. Why? Because wanting isn't enough. Because wanting isn't enough. You have to be willing to fight for it. You have to be relentless. You have to be a hunter. Hunters don't just show up, they prepare. They stalk their prey. They adapt. They execute. They do whatever it takes. And that's exactly how you need to approach your goals, not with hope, but with absolute determination. Not as a dreamer, but as a hunter. Words to use before going to keynotes. Let's break this down. Here's what separates hunters from dreamers. If you want to stop chasing and start winning, remember this: the mindset shift you need starts here. Pay attention, because this will change the way you move. Hunters operate by these rules. This is how you stop hesitating and start dominating. Let me give you the blueprint for hunting your goals. If you're ready to take action, here's what you need to know. These are the 10 things that will change everything. There is a dangerous lie we've been told our entire lives: the idea that we need motivation to take action. That somehow, if we just wait long enough, the right feeling will hit us. And then, finally, we'll be ready to go after what we want. But let's be brutally honest. How many times has motivation actually lasted? How many times have you felt fired up one day, only to wake up the next morning completely unmotivated, making excuses, pushing things off, and telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow? This is where most people get stuck. They think motivation is some magical force that will suddenly make everything easy. That one day, they'll wake up and just feel like working out, or feel like starting that business, or feel like getting serious about their dreams. And when that feeling doesn't come, they stay exactly where they are, waiting, hoping, and ultimately wasting time. But the truth is, the people who achieve their biggest goals don't wait for motivation. They don't rely on it. They understand that if they wait to feel like taking action, they'll be stuck in the same cycle forever. Imagine a lion in the wild. It doesn't wake up and think, do I feel like hunting today? No, it hunts because it has to. It hunts because survival depends on it. That's the mindset you need to adopt. You don't wait for the right feeling. You take action no matter what. Think about all the things you started but never finished. The diet you began on Monday but quit by Thursday. The book you wanted to write but never got past the first chapter. The gym membership you paid for but stopped using after 2 weeks. If motivation was the key to success, you would have completed all of them. But you didn't, because motivation isn't the answer. Successful people don't wake up every morning feeling energized and ready to take on the world. They wake up tired. They wake up tired. They wake up overwhelmed. They wake up dealing with the same self-doubt and fears as everyone else, but they move anyway. They push through the resistance. They train their minds to act even when they don't want to. And that's where real power comes from. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You need to make a decision that no matter what, you will take action. You will show up. You will get things done, even when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you don't see immediate results, when the excitement has worn off, and when every part of you wants to quit. It's easy to get fired up when you set a new goal. That first burst of excitement is intoxicating. You start imagining your future success, picturing yourself with the dream body, the thriving business, the financial freedom, the respect, the recognition. And in that moment, you believe you can do it. But the real test isn't in the first few days when everything feels exciting. The real test is in the grind, when the work gets boring, when progress is slow, when obstacles show up, and when no one is watching to hold you accountable. That's where most people stop. But the hunters, they don't stop. They push through. They don't care if they feel like it or not. Greta. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They do what needs to be done because they understand something most people never learn. Motivation is a trap. It's fleeting. It's unreliable. And if you depend on it, you'll never get where you want to go. So, how do you break free? How do you become the kind of person who moves no matter what? First, stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a lie. No one ever feels completely ready to take a big step, to chase something massive, to go after their wildest dreams. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll wait forever. Second, commit to action, no matter how small. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they have to be all in or not at all. That's not how discipline works. Discipline is built in the small, consistent actions you take every single day, no matter how you feel.
Mhm.
Even when it's just showing up for 5 minutes, it's
Yes.
still showing up. Third, make decisions like a hunter. Hunters don't hesitate. They don't spend hours debating whether they feel like doing something. They act. The moment you start thinking, should I do this now or later, you've already lost. The answer is always now, not tomorrow, not when you're in the mood, now. Fourth, create systems, not just goals. Goals are great, but without a system to back them up, they're useless. A system is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. If you want to write a book, set a rule. I write 500 words every day, no matter what. If you want to get fit, set a rule. I exercise for 30 minutes daily. No questions asked. Make it automatic. Make it automatic. Make it non negotiable. Fifth, embrace the discomfort. Here's the truth: discipline isn't supposed to feel good. That's why so few people have it. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to push you beyond your limits. If you can accept that, if you can lean into the discomfort instead of running from it, you'll unlock a level of strength most people never reach. Sixth, stop relying on motivation hacks. Forget the inspirational quotes, the hype videos, the feel good morning routines. Fuss. None of that will save you when you're tired, frustrated, and doubting yourself. What will save you is the decision, the commitment to act no matter what. Seventh, become obsessed with showing up. Make it your mission to be the person who shows up, no matter what. The kind of person who doesn't flinch in the face of resistance, the kind of person who moves forward even when every part of them wants to stop.
Because that is what separates hunters from the rest.
And finally, remember this: discipline is freedom. It may feel like a burden at first, but in the long run, it gives you control over your life. It puts you in the driver's seat. It allows you to create the future you want instead of living at the mercy of your fleeting emotions. So, are you ready to stop waiting? Are you ready to stop chasing your goals like a dreamer and start hunting them like a warrior? Because the moment you stop waiting for motivation, the moment you decide that you will act no matter what, that's the moment everything changes. Most people live their lives as if they have all the time in the world. They set goals with the mindset of, someday. Someday I'll start my business. Someday I'll get in shape. Someday I'll chase my dreams. But here's the brutal truth: someday is a lie. It's an illusion, a trap, and the reason why so many people stay stuck in the same place for years. If you want to achieve anything significant, you need to create urgency. You need to operate as if time is running out, because it is. Think about it. How many times have you said you were going to do something and then never followed through? Not because you didn't want it, not because it wasn't important, but because there was no real urgency behind it. You convinced yourself you had more time, that it wasn't the right moment, that you'd start when things felt perfect. But let me ask you this: how many opportunities have you missed because you waited? How many dreams have slipped through your fingers because you hesitated? Successful people don't think like that. They don't wait for the perfect time. They create urgency. They move with the mindset that today is the only time they have. Imagine you were given a deadline. If you didn't achieve your goal in 6 months, you would lose everything. No second chances, no extensions. How would you operate? You wouldn't procrastinate. You wouldn't waste time on distractions. You wouldn't let fear stop you. You would go all in. You would wake up early, push through exhaustion, eliminate every excuse, and get things done because the urgency would force you to. That's the energy you need to bring to your goals. The problem is, most people don't feel that urgency because they've convinced themselves that they have time. But that's the biggest mistake you can make. Time is the one thing you can never get back. You can recover from failure. You can rebuild from setbacks, but you can never reclaim the years you wasted waiting for the right time. Ask yourself, what if you only had 1 year left to make your dreams happen? How would you move? would you still be scrolling on your phone for hours? Would you still be making excuses?
And
Would you still be sitting around waiting for motivation? You would attack your goals with everything you have, and that's exactly what you need to start doing. Here's the harsh truth: most people live like they're going to be here forever. They assume they'll have more time, more chances, more opportunities, but life doesn't work that way. You don't know how much time you have left. You don't know how many chances you'll get. So, why are you wasting time acting like you do? Creating urgency isn't about panicking. It's about realizing that every single day you hesitate is a day you'll never get back. Think about the people who dominate in life: the top athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the highest achievers in any field. Do you think they waste time? Do you think they say, I'll start next week or I'll wait until I feel ready? No, they treat every single day like it's their last chance to make progress. They move with intensity. They don't let distractions pull them away from their mission. And if you want to win, you need to do the same. You need to stop acting like you have unlimited time and start operating with urgency. Because the truth is, the only thing separating you from where you want to be is the speed at which you execute. Most people fail not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they move too slowly. They hesitate, they overthink, they let fear creep in. And before they know it, another year has passed and they're still in the same place. You don't have that luxury. If you want to achieve your goals, you need to move fast. You need to make decisions quickly. You need to take action even when you're not sure if it will work, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets. One of the biggest killers of dreams is indecision. People spend months, sometimes years, debating what they should do. Should I start the business? Should I go after this goal?
No.
Should I take the risk? And while they're stuck thinking, someone else is out there executing. Someone else is taking the opportunity they hesitated on. Stop waiting. Stop overanalyzing. Stop telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Move now. If you want to create urgency, you need to change the way you think about time. You need to stop treating it like an unlimited resource and start treating it like the most valuable thing you have. Here's how you do it. 1, set brutal deadlines. If you don't have a deadline, you'll procrastinate. Set short, aggressive timelines for your goals and hold yourself accountable to them. 2, eliminate distractions. Urgency means focus. You can't move fast if you're constantly getting pulled away by social media, TVs, or pointless activities. Cut the distractions and lock in. 3, act like you're running out of time, because you are. Imagine every day as your last chance to make progress, because one day it will be. 4, make speed a habit. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Take action now, adjust along the way, and keep moving forward. 5, hold yourself to a higher standard. Stop operating at the level of the average person. Move with the mindset of a hunter, relentless, focused, and unstoppable. 6, stop negotiating with yourself the moment you start thinking, maybe I'll do it later. You've already lost. Stop letting your mind talk you out of action. 7, cut the excuses. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need to start, period. 8, find what's at stake. If you don't succeed, what do you lose? What happens if you keep waiting? Get clear on what's at risk and let that drive you. 9, move before you're ready. You will never feel fully ready. Do it anyway. 10, make every day count. Stop wasting time. Make today a step forward, not another day lost. Urgency is what separates those who win from those who wish. It's what turns ideas into results. It's what transforms goals from something you hope to achieve into something you guarantee will happen. So stop acting like you have all the time in the world. You don't. Your dreams are waiting, but they won't wait forever. Move with urgency. Move with intensity. Move with intensity. Move like your future depends on it, because it does. Excuses are the #1 killer of dreams. They are the silent poison that keeps people stuck, the invisible chains that hold them back from becoming everything they're capable of being. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they're making them. They disguise their excuses as reasons, convincing themselves that their limitations are real when, in reality, they are nothing more than self-imposed barriers. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I don't have time. I'm too tired. I don't have the resources. I'll start when I feel ready. I don't know how. It's not the right time. If any of these sound familiar, let me be brutally honest with you. They're all lies. Lies you have told yourself so often that you believe them. Lies that keep you comfortable, safe, and stagnant. Successful people, they don't have fewer obstacles than you. They don't have more time, more energy, or fewer problems. They simply refuse to entertain excuses. Because here's the truth: every excuse you make is a choice. A choice to stay where you are instead of moving forward. A choice to let fear dictate your actions. A choice to remain average when you have the potential to be great. Look at anyone who has ever achieved something massive: athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries. Visionaries. Do you think they never had setbacks? Do you think they never faced moments of exhaustion, self doubt, and failure? Of course they did. But they refused to let excuses be stronger than their drive. When you make an excuse, you're essentially saying, this problem is bigger than my will to succeed. And if that's your mindset, you've already lost. Think about the last time you used the excuse, I don't have time. The truth is, you do have time. You just don't prioritize what you claim to want. Because if something truly mattered to you, if it was life or death, you'd find the time. If someone told you that you had 30 days to achieve your goal or you'd lose everything, your home, your family, your freedom, would you still say you don't have time?
No.
You'd move heaven and earth to make it happen. The difference between people who achieve their goals and those who don't isn't talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's the ability to eliminate excuses and take action no matter what. So how do you do that? How do you break the habit of making excuses?
Queenie excuses.
First, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Call yourself out on your own BS. Every time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop and ask, is this really true? Or am I just avoiding discomfort? Because most of the time, the real reason behind an excuse isn't the one you're telling yourself. It's not about time or money or energy. It's about fear, fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of stepping into the unknown. Second, you have to take ownership. No more blaming circumstances. No more waiting for the right time. For the moment you decide that everything in your life is your responsibility, you gain the power to change it. Third, you have to rewire your thinking. Instead of saying, I can't because, start saying, how can I? Excuses are about focusing on problems. Action is about focusing on solutions. If you don't have time, how can you make time? If you don't know how can you learn? If you feel unmotivated, how can you create discipline? Stop seeing roadblocks and start seeing opportunities. Fourth, you need to develop the habit of immediate action. Every time you feel yourself hesitating, every time an excuse pops into your head, take action immediately. Don't give your mind time to talk you out of it. The longer you wait, the stronger the excuse becomes. Fifth, surround yourself with people who don't tolerate excuses. If you spend time with people who make excuses, guess what? You'll make excuses too. But if you surround yourself with people who hold themselves to a higher standard, who take action, even when it's hard, that mindset will rub off on you. Sixth, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable. Every excuse is a way of avoiding discomfort, but the reality is discomfort is the price of success. You have to be willing to do things you don't want to do. Wake up earlier, work when you're tired, learn new skills, even when they frustrate you, push past fear, even when it feels overwhelming. Seventh, stop seeking perfection. Many people make excuses because they feel like they need the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, the perfect strategy before they start. But perfection is just another form of procrastination. Start now. Adjust as you go. The people who win are the ones who take messy action instead of waiting for the perfect moment. Eighth, create consequences for your excuses. If you know you're someone who falls into the trap of making excuses, set up a system where there's a real cost to doing so. Find an accountability partner who will call you out. Bet money on your goals. Set up a rule where every time you make an excuse, you owe someone $100. Whatever it takes to make excuses more painful than taking action. Ninth, redefine failure. A lot of excuses come from the fear of failure. But failure isn't the enemy. Inaction is. The only way to truly fail is to do nothing. Every setback, every mistake, every wrong move is just data that helps you adjust and move forward. The people who achieve their goals aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail and keep going anyway. And 10th, make a decision.
Right now, decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer accept excuses from yourself.
That you will no longer let fear, doubt, or inconvenience stop you. That no matter what obstacles come your way, you will find a way to push through. Because at the end of the day, your life is a direct reflection of the standards you set for yourself. If you allow excuses, you will live an average life. But if you eliminate them, if you develop the mindset that nothing will stop you, that success is non-negotiable, that you will do whatever it takes, then you will become unstoppable. So here's the question. Are you going to keep making excuses? Or are you going to step up and take action? Most people wake up every day, go through the motions, and live life on autopilot. They let circumstances dictate their actions, allowing distractions, doubts, and fears to pull them away from what they really want. They move passively, waiting for things to happen instead of making things happen. And then they wonder why they aren't achieving their goals. The truth? You cannot accomplish anything extraordinary by moving passively. You have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate with every action, every decision, every single moment of your day. Think about the most successful people in any field: athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. Do you think they just stumble their way into success? Do you think they casually go about their day, hoping things will work out? No, they move with precision. They move with purpose. Every single thing they do is part of a bigger plan. They don't just work out when they feel like it. They schedule it, they commit to it, they commit to it. They train with a clear goal in mind. They don't just hope their business will grow. They strategize, they execute, they track progress and adjust their approach. They don't just wake up and see where the day takes them. They structure their day in a way that guarantees progress. They're intentional about everything. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It's not luck, it's intentionality. It's having a clear purpose behind every action and making sure everything they do moves them closer to their goals. But most people don't operate that way. Most people live in a constant state of reaction. They let external factors determine how they spend their time. They check their phone first thing in the morning and get lost in notifications. They go to work and let their inbox dictate their entire day. They allow other people's demands, opinions, and distractions to pull them away from what really matters, and then they wonder why they feel stuck. If you want to break free from mediocrity, you need to shift from being reactive to being intentional. You need to start taking control of your time, your energy, your focus, because if you don't, the world will. Think about it. If you don't plan your time, someone else will. If you don't decide what matters most, you'll end up spending your days on things that don't matter at all. If you don't take control of your own life, you will become a supporting character in someone else's. So how do you start being intentional? First, you have to get crystal clear on what you want. You can't be intentional if you don't even know what you're working toward. Most people, you have vague goals. They say things like, I want to be successful, or I want to get in shape, or I want to start a business. But that's not enough. You need to define it. What does success look like for you? How much money do you want to make? What kind of body do you want to build? What specific results are you aiming for? Clarity is power. The clearer you are about what you want, the easier it becomes to take intentional action toward it. Second, reverse engineer your goal and break it down into actionable steps. If you want to achieve something in a year, what do you need to do each month, each week, each day? This is what separates people who make progress from people who stay stuck. They don't just set goals, they create a roadmap. Third, guard your time like your life depends on it, because it does. The biggest mistake people make is treating time like it's unlimited. They waste hours scrolling social media, watching TV, doing things that add zero value to their life. And then they complain about not having enough time. If you're serious about your goals, your time has to reflect that. Schedule everything. If working out is important, put it in your calendar and treat it like an unbreakable appointment. If building a business is important, carve out non-negotiable work hours. If personal growth is important, set aside time to read, learn, and develop new skills. Fourth, eliminate distractions and cut the noise. Every minute you spend on meaningless activities is a minute stolen from your goals. Identify your biggest distractions, whether it's your phone, TV, toxic people, or mindless habits, and eliminate them. Create an environment that makes success easier, not harder. Fifth, train yourself to focus on what actually moves the needle. Not all work is equal. Some tasks create massive results while others just make you feel busy. The people who succeed focus on high impact actions. Instead of spending hours on pointless meetings, they focus on strategy. Instead of getting lost in emails, they focus on sales. Instead of consuming content all day, they create. Ask yourself every single day, is what I'm doing right now actually moving me closer to my goals, or am I just keeping myself busy? Sixth, be ruthless about saying no. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something that actually matters. Stop agreeing to things out of guilt or obligation. Stop letting people steal your time with requests that don't align with your mission. If it doesn't contribute to your goals, cut it out, period. Seventh, develop a powerful morning routine. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up and immediately check social media, you're starting your day in reaction mode. But if you wake up, exercise, plan your priorities, and set clear intentions, you take control from the very beginning. Eighth, track your progress aggressively. If you're not measuring it, you're not managing it. The most intentional people track everything: how much weight they lift in the gym, how much money they make, how many hours they spend on high value activities. Because numbers don't lie. Data forces you to be honest with yourself. Ninth, move with urgency. Being intentional isn't just about planning, it's about executing. Most people spend so much time overthinking that they never actually take action. The ones who win are the ones who move fast. They don't wait until they feel ready. They don't waste time doubting themselves. They make a decision and go all in. 10th, create a system for accountability. If you don't have someone or something holding you accountable, it's too easy to let things slide. Find a mentor. Join a group of like-minded people who push you. Set up daily check-ins with yourself to make sure you're staying on track. Being intentional isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about making sure that every single thing you do is moving you closer to the life you want to create. So stop drifting, stop reacting, stop wasting time on things that don't matter. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more time. I'll take action when I feel more confident. I'll chase my dreams when I'm better prepared. And before they know it, years have passed and they're still in the same place. Here's the hard truth. You will never feel fully ready. There will never be a perfect moment. The stars will never magically align. And if you keep waiting, you will waste your entire life standing still while others pass you by. Successful people, they take action even when they're unsure, even when they feel unprepared, even when fear and doubt are screaming at them to stop, because they know that action creates readiness. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. You don't feel prepared and then start. You start, and in the process, you become prepared. Think about the biggest things you've ever accomplished in your life. Were you 100% ready when you started? Probably not. But you figured it out along the way. You learned as you went. You adjusted, adapted, and improved. That's how everything works. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. The problem is, most people overthink everything. They analyze, they hesitate, they let fear paralyze them. They convince themselves that they need to know every step before they take the first one. But that's a lie. And no one knows every step in the beginning. You discover the path by walking it. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a massive staircase. It's dark and you can't see the entire staircase, only the first step. Most people refuse to move until they see the whole thing. But that's not how success works. The only way to reveal the next step is to take the first one. Action brings clarity. Movement exposes the path. If you wait until you have all the answers, you'll never start. Let's be real. Fear is the real reason people hesitate. Fear of failing, fear of looking stupid, fear of making the wrong move. But here's what you need to understand. The only real failure is doing nothing. Trying and failing is not failure. Quitting before you even start is. Every successful person you admire, every leader, every innovator, every champion, they all started before they were ready. They stepped into uncertainty, faced the unknown, and figured it out. That's why they're successful. So why do you think you need to be different? Why do you believe you need to have everything figured out before you take action? Perfectionism is a lie. It's a fancy word for procrastination. The people who get ahead in life are the ones who take messy action. They move forward even when they don't feel ready, even when their plans aren't perfect, even when they're filled with doubt. Because here's what happens when you take action.
1, you break the cycle of overthinking.
The more you sit and analyze, the more fear builds up. But when you take action, fear loses its grip. 2, you build momentum. The hardest part is always starting. Once you take the first step, the next one becomes easier. 3, you learn faster. No amount of research, planning, or thinking can replace actual experience. Action is the best teacher. You build confidence. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you earn through action. The more you do, the more capable you become. 5, you separate yourself from 99% of people. Most people stay stuck in planning mode. If you take action, you're already ahead of them. Think about it this way. Imagine two people who want to start a business. Person A spends years reading books, watching videos, analyzing market trends, waiting for the right time. They never actually start. Person B, on the other hand, jumps in. They don't know everything, but they take the first step. They launch a basic version of their product. They make mistakes, they learn from experience, and they adjust. Who do you think will be more successful? The person who takes action will always win over the person who waits. Now, this doesn't mean you should be reckless. It doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare or plan, but preparation without execution is worthless. A bad plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed never. And here's the thing. Once you start, you can adjust. You can improve. You can fix mistakes, but you can't improve something that doesn't exist. You can't adjust something that never started. The first version of anything will always be imperfect. The first draft of a book, the first attempt at a skill, the first business you start, it will have flaws, but that's okay. Progress beats perfection every time. Look at any major company, any great product, any successful person. None of them started perfect. They evolved over time. They launched, they learned, they refined. Apple didn't wait until they had the perfect iPhone. They released the first version, learned from it, and improved with every update. The greatest athletes didn't wait until they were perfect to start competing. They stepped onto the field, took losses, and got better with experience. The most successful entrepreneurs didn't have it all figured out from day one. They took risks, made adjustments, and built their empires step by step. You have to do the same. So ask yourself, what have you been putting off because you don't feel ready? What goal have you been delaying, convincing yourself that you need more time, more preparation, more certainty? What would happen if, instead of waiting, you just started? Imagine where you could be a year from now if you took action today. Imagine how much progress you could make if you stopped hesitating and just moved forward. Because here's the truth. The business you never start will never succeed. The book you never write will never be read. The workout you never do will never transform you. The opportunity you never take will never change your life. You don't need more time. You don't need more preparation. You don't need more confidence. You just need to start. One step, one action, one move forward. And once you do, everything will start to fall into place. Most people talk about what they want. They dream about success, visualize their ideal life, and make big promises to themselves. They say things like, I'm going to start that business. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to change my life. But the problem? They don't back it up with action. They mistake talking about their goals for making progress. They confuse intentions with execution. The harsh truth? Intentions mean nothing without action. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't do something about them, they are worthless. Most people live in a fantasy world. They get excited about their goals. They feel motivated when they talk about them, but they never actually do anything. And the reason taking action is uncomfortable, it's easy to dream. It's easy to visualize success. It's easy to say one day, I'm going to, but when it's time to actually show up, when it's time to put in the real work, that's when most people back down because work requires effort, discipline, sacrifice. It forces you to step out of your comfort zone, to face challenges, to risk failure. And that's where most people quit. They convince themselves that thinking about their goals is enough, that watching motivational videos is enough, that reading books about success is enough. But none of that matters if you're not actually doing the work. Success doesn't come from talking. It comes from doing. Look at the most successful people in any industry. They didn't just sit around thinking about success. They worked for it. They put in the hours, they took risks, they made mistakes, adjusted, and kept pushing forward and kept pushing forward. Michael Jordan didn't just dream about being the greatest basketball player. He practiced for hours every day. Elon Musk didn't just talk about changing the world. He built companies, took risks, and faced failures head on. Beyoncé didn't just wish for success. She worked harder than anyone, perfecting her craft, pushing herself to new levels. What separates the successful from the average isn't talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's action. But here's what most people do. They spend hours watching videos about success instead of working toward it. They create endless to-do lists, but never actually complete them. They read books about motivation, but never apply what they learn. They set goals every new year, but abandon them after a few weeks. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck. The ones who make it take action, even when they don't feel like it.
Because, let's be real, there will be days when you don't feel motivated.
Days when you're tired, days when self-doubt creeps in, but discipline means doing the work anyway. It means showing up even when it's inconvenient, even when you'd rather do something else, even when no one is watching. The problem is, most people let their emotions control them. They only take action when they feel good, when they're excited, when they're motivated. But the most successful people, they take action regardless of how they feel. They understand that motivation is temporary, but habits are permanent. They don't rely on feeling like it. They rely on discipline. Think about this. If you only worked out when you felt like it, would you ever get in shape? If you only put in effort at your job when you were motivated, would you ever get promoted? If you only worked on your business when it was convenient, would it ever be successful?
Of course not.
Success isn't built on convenience, it's built on consistency. And here's something else most people don't realize. Small actions done consistently create massive results. Most people think success comes from one big moment, one breakthrough, one lucky opportunity. But that's a lie. Success is built through tiny daily actions that compound over time. If you write one page every day, you'll have a book in a year. If you save a small amount of money consistently, you'll build wealth over time. If you improve just 1% every day, you'll be unrecognizable in a year. But most people don't think like this. They want instant results. They want shortcuts. They want success without the struggle. And that's why they never achieve anything significant. Because the truth is, hard work compounds, effort compounds. And over time, those small daily actions create unstoppable momentum. Now let's talk about excuses. Because if you're not taking action, chances are you're making excuses. I don't have time. Everyone has 24 hours. The difference is how you use them. I don't know how. Figure it out.
Oh, figure it out.
Everything is learnable. I don't feel motivated. Do it anyway. I'm too tired. So is everyone who's working towards something big, it's not the right time. There is no perfect time. The only time is now. Excuses are just a way to avoid discomfort. They keep you stuck. They keep you stuck. They keep you average. And if you let them control you, you'll never get where you want to be. You have to stop waiting for motivation, stop waiting for permission, stop waiting for the right time. Start now. Make the call. Send the email. Hit the gym. Write the first page. Take the first step. Take the first step. Because action beats inaction every single time. And here's the best part. Once you start taking action, momentum builds. The hardest part is the beginning. But once you start moving, everything gets easier. Action creates confidence. It creates results. It turns dreams into reality. So here's the question. Are you just talking about success? Or are you actually doing something about it? Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you say you're going to do. It's about what you actually do. Most people live their lives waiting for the right moment. They wait for confidence to show up, for the fear to disappear, for some magical feeling of certainty before they take action. But that's not how success works. That's not how anything in life works. If you want to achieve your goals, if you want to break past your limits, if you want to do something extraordinary, then you need to understand one powerful truth. Action comes first, then confidence follows. Most people have this process completely backward. They think confidence is something they need to feel before they can start. They believe they need to be fully prepared, fully ready, fully certain before they take the first step. And because of that belief, they stay stuck. They hesitate. They overthink. They let self-doubt talk them out of the very things that could change their lives. But the truth is, confidence is not something you have, it's something you build. And the only way to build it is through action. Think about it. Was there ever a time in your life when you started something new and felt completely confident from day one? Probably not. Whether it was learning a new skill, starting a job, or stepping into an unfamiliar situation, you probably felt uncertain, maybe even scared. But as you kept showing up, as you kept taking action, what happened? You got better, you gained experience, and with that experience came confidence. That's how confidence works. It's not something you're born with. It's not something some people just have while others don't. It's earned. It's earned. It's built through repetition, through effort, through the willingness to show up even when you don't feel ready. But most people never get to that point because they let fear control them. They tell themselves, what if I fail? What if I look stupid? What if I'm not good enough? So they wait. They tell themselves they'll start when they feel more confident. But what they don't realize is that confidence doesn't just appear, it's created through action. Let's break this down with a real example. Imagine you want to start public speaking. Right now, the thought of standing in front of an audience makes you nervous. You feel anxious, uncertain, maybe even terrified. So you tell yourself, I'll start when I feel more confident. But how do you expect to feel confident if you've never actually done it? Confidence doesn't come from reading about public speaking. It doesn't come from watching others do it. It doesn't come from thinking about it. It comes from getting on that stage and doing it again and again. The first time you speak, you'll probably feel awkward. You might stumble over your words. Your hands might shake. But guess what? That's part of the process. The second time, it'll be a little easier. The third time, even easier. And by the 10th time, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. You'll feel confident, not because confidence magically appeared, but because you earned it. And this applies to everything in life. Want to be confident in the gym? You have to start lifting weights, even if you don't feel ready. Want to be confident in business? You have to start making moves, even if you're scared of failing. Want to be confident in social situations? You have to put yourself out there, even when it feels uncomfortable. You cannot think your way into confidence. You have to act your way into it. But here's where most people get stuck. They let fear stop them before they even begin. They tell themselves, I'm not ready yet. But when will you be ready? Next month? Next year? The truth is, you'll never feel ready. You have to start before you feel ready. They say, I don't know enough yet. But the only way to learn is by doing. No one starts out as an expert. The best way to gain knowledge is to take action and figure things out along the way. They think, I might fail. But failure isn't something to avoid. It's something to embrace. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every person who has ever achieved something great has failed over and over again. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They used it to get better. So if you want to build confidence, if you want to break free from self-doubt, if you want to finally start making real progress toward your goals, then you have to stop waiting. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the fear to disappear. Stop waiting for some magical moment when you suddenly feel ready, because that moment will never come. Instead, take action, even if you're scared, even if you feel unprepared, even if you think you might fail. Because every time you take action, you're building something powerful. You're building proof. Confidence is built on evidence. When you take action, when you push yourself, when you face your fears head on, you collect proof that you can do hard things. And the more proof you collect, the more confident you become. So what does this look like in real life? 1, start small. You don't need to take massive leaps right away. If public speaking scares you, start by practicing in front of a mirror. Then record yourself. Then speak in front of a small group. Build your confidence one step at a time. 2, take action before you feel ready. If you wait until you feel confident, you'll wait forever. Confidence comes after action, not before. 3, focus on progress, not perfection. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to improve. Every time you take action, you're getting better. 4, reframe failure. Stop seeing failure as something negative. Instead, see it as part of the learning process. Every mistake is a lesson. Every setback is a stepping stone. 5, track your wins. Keep a record of every small victory. Every time you do something that scares you, write it down. Over time, you'll see just how much progress you've made. 6, surround yourself with action takers. If you're around people who hesitate, you'll hesitate too. But if you're around people who take bold action, you'll be inspired to do the same. 7, remember that confidence is a skill. And like any skill, it improves with practice. The more you take action, the more confident you become. So let me ask you this. What's something you've been putting off because you don't feel confident enough? What's a goal you've been waiting to start? Telling yourself you'll do it when you're ready. What if instead of waiting, you just did it? What if instead of letting fear control you, you took the first step, even if it was messy, even if it was imperfect, even if it scared you? Because here's what will happen. You will prove to yourself that you can. You will build confidence through action. You will become stronger, braver, and more capable than you ever imagined. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Take action now. Because confidence isn't given, it's built. And the only way to build it is to start moving forward today. Most people live their lives avoiding discomfort. They stay where it's safe, where it's predictable, where they don't have to push themselves too hard. They convince themselves that if something feels uncomfortable, it must be a sign to stop, to turn around, to wait for an easier path. But that's the exact reason so many people never reach their full potential. They see discomfort as a warning sign instead of what it actually is, proof that they're growing. You need to understand something powerful. Discomfort is the price of success. If you're not feeling uncomfortable, if you're not being challenged, if you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone regularly, then you're not growing. You're not evolving. You're staying the same. And here's the harsh truth. If you stay the same, you will never achieve more than what you already have. Every major success, every breakthrough, every transformation happens outside your comfort zone. The people who accomplish incredible things, who break barriers, who change their lives completely, they're the ones who learn to embrace discomfort instead of running from it. But most people, they avoid it. They don't go to the gym because working out is hard. They don't start the business because uncertainty is scary. They don't step into leadership roles because responsibility is uncomfortable. They don't have tough conversations because confrontation is uneasy. So they stay stuck. They stay in the same job, the same body, the same mindset, the same financial situation, the same routines, not because they're incapable, but because they refuse to be uncomfortable. What if I told you that discomfort isn't something to avoid, but something to seek out? But if you're around people who push themselves, who chase challenges, who refuse to settle, you'll start to adopt that same mindset. 5, look at discomfort as a necessary step, not an obstacle. Most people see discomfort as something to get rid of. You need to see it as something. It's about refusing to be stopped by it. Most people see failure as the end. Successful people see it as a stepping stone. Most people let rejection destroy their confidence. Successful people use rejection as motivation. Most people crumble under pressure. Successful people rise to. So no matter what you're facing right now, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you've failed, keep going, because success doesn't belong to the smartest, the luckiest, or the most talented. It belongs to the ones who refuse to give up